Please turn on. There we go. Welcome back, Barbecue Pit. Hopefully we don't crash this time. Chris Curtis versus Brandon. UFC 2 Vegas 44. Jose Aldo, Rob Font. We already kicked this off for Curtis. I picked Christopher Curtis. Allen's supposed to have fought Brad Tavares. Supposed to have fought Roman Delate. He gets Chris Curtis on short notice. Brendan Allen, majority grappler, good submissions. I think 9 wins by submission. Chris Curtis, power in his hands, power in his kicks, an amazing kickboxer, and a great guy, funny guy. I'm just biasly going for Chris Curtis. Caught back up to where we were. Jimmy Crute, Jamal Hill. Jamal Hill, long, rangy striker, 2-1-1 in the UFC. Lost his last fight to Paul Craig, TKO. 3 wins, Darko Stosic, Oven St. Preux, and Cleason Abreu. The Abreu win was overturned to a no contest because of a marijuana suspension, pop for test, whatever. Jimmy Crute's 12-2. He only lost to Anthony Smith and Misha Serkinov with wins over Paul Craig, Sam Alvey, Mareskis, Budakis. He's got 5 wins by knockout, 4 wins by submission, pretty evenly matched going into that. I think Jamal Hill's range, 2-inch height, 5-inch reach advantage is going to play a big part in that. I got Jamal Hill via TKO. Clay Guido versus Leonardo Santos. Great fight. Guido 36-21, 7-2 by knockout, 13-10 by submission. He's 2-3 in his last 5 fights. He's got decision wins over Michael Johnson and BJ Penn. Losses to Mark Madsen, Bobby Green, Jim Miller. His pro debut was July of 2003. Leonardo Santos' professional debut was June 2002. So a solid year before Clay Guida's. Clay Guida has 57 professional fights, whereas Leonardo Santos only has 23 professional fights. He lost his last fight via KO to Grant Dawson before that. His last loss was a split decision loss to Kaori Yotka in May of 2009. He's 7-1-1 in the UFC. 9-0 via submission, 3-2 by knockout, 4th-degree black belt, 3-inch height, 5-inch reach advantage. I think this one's pretty easy. I think Clay Guida's only path to victory would have been grappling. And he's a college wrestler back in the day. He's got good wrestling foundation. Leonardo Santos, though, 4th-degree black belt in jiu-jitsu. I think even if the fight goes to the ground, Leonardo Santos has got more than a good shot of winning the fight on the ground. So it's pretty easy for me. I'm going to go Leonardo Santos in that one. Brad Riddell versus Rafael Fizzev. Fizzev 10-1. Only loss was a TKO loss to Magomed Mustafayev in his UFC debut in 2019. He has wins over Alex White, Mark DeCasey, Bobby Green in his most recent fight. He also has a TKO win over Renato Moicano. 6 wins by knockout. Phenomenal Muay Thai kickboxing striker. Brad Riddell is also 10-1. His only loss was a submission loss to Abel Brites in 2018, his 4th professional fight. He is 4-0 in the UFC. Decision wins over Magomed Mustafayev, Jamie Malarkey, Alex De Silva, and then most recently Drew Dober at UFC 263 in June. 5 out of 10 of his wins via knockout. 2 Fight of the Night bonuses in his career, and he's a purple belt in jiu-jitsu. Brad Riddell is a guy that we talked about the 5 out of 10 by knockout, the other 5 by decision. He's good at point fighting. He's really, really good at point fighting. He comes out of city kickboxing, so he's got good kickboxing skills. Trains with Israel Adesanya and those guys over there. Fizzev, though, I mean, if you're looking striker versus striker, this is probably one of the most exciting fights on the card. I think Riddell's going to come in with a slight size advantage, even though I'm going to go Rafael Fizzev by decision more than likely. Rob Font versus Jose Aldo, the main event of the evening. Classic matchup. Young, up-and-comer. Rob Font is a phenomenal boxer. Going up against Jose Aldo, who, if he goes back to his roots, is going to be throwing leg kick after leg kick after leg kick to Rob Font, which could be very, very beneficial for Jose Aldo. Font's going to come in with a slight size advantage. 19-4 is his professional record. 8 knockout wins, 4 submission wins. Never been knocked out in his career. Only been submitted 1 time by Pedro Munoz in 2017. He's on a 4-fight winning streak with decision wins over Sergio Pettis and Rick Glenn, TKO win over Marlon Moraes, and then a decision win over Cody Garbrandt in May. We talked about his boxing skill. He's a brown belt in jiu-jitsu. He's going up against a black belt in jiu-jitsu and Jose Aldo. Jose Aldo's on a 2-fight winning streak right now, a decision win over Marlon Vera and Pedro Munoz. He's 2-2 at bantamweight, 30-7 professional record, 17 knockouts, 12 decision wins. He's got knockout losses in 4 out of 7 of his losses. He's only been submitted one time, and that was in 2005. So I don't think with either man we really have to worry about this fight going to the ground. I think the main point of interest goes to Rob Font's boxing versus Jose Aldo's leg kicks. And will Jose Aldo come in leg kick heavy, or will he try to box like he has in some of his most recent fights? Who knows? I think if Jose Aldo comes in and starts beating up the leg early and Rob Font has trouble dealing with those leg kicks, that could seriously hinder his boxing, and Jose Aldo could just run away with this fight. If Jose Aldo comes in and tries to box Rob Font, I think Rob Font coming in with a slight size advantage is going to play very beneficial for the boxing match, if that's what it becomes. So just purely off percentage statistical wise, I'm going to go Rob Font, probably by TKO. I think Jose Aldo's in the later part of his career, and it is completely understandable that a young guy like Rob Font would finish Jose Aldo early in the fight. The rest of the card plays out. I think we have a 14-fight main card or 14-fight card. Oh, geez, we got another one. Brian Barberena. Let me check my phone. Brian Barberena was supposed to fight Matt Brown. Matt Brown pulls out of the fight. Brian Barberena gets a fight just earlier today. Remains on the card against Darian Weeks. So potentially a very easy fight for Brian Barberena, the Barbarian. Rest of the card plays out. Maki Patolo versus Dusko Torodovic. Manel Kopp versus Zalagas Zumagulov. Jake Matthews taking on Jeremiah Wells. Cheyenne Bays versus Mallory Martin. Alonzo Menefiel versus William Knight. Claudio Pules versus Chris Gutzemaker. Jared Vandier versus Adzmat Marakanov. Alex Moreno taking on Mickey Gall, and then Louis Samoka versus Vince Morales. If I have to say one or two fights to watch on the prelims, I'm going to either say Alonzo Menefiel versus William Knight, because that is going to be a banger from start to finish, or possibly Jake Matthews versus Jeremiah Wells. Jeremiah Wells came in as an underdog in his first fight, and I think starched. I think it was Warley Alves, I think was his UFC debut. Either way, people sleep on him, man, but he's got power. He is coming into the UFC to be exciting, to be one of those exciting fighters. And Jake Matthews, he's got good kickboxing, but I think it's going to be a rough night if he's leaning on that minus 190 favoritism on the odds. Let's see what fight comes after this one. It's not Rob Font. 269, Oliveira versus Poirier is coming on next week. Hey, also, I'm going to have my promotional debut for commentating fights this weekend. I'm just having a tryout with the boss of the company. The app is called Colorcast. So if you want to go to Colorcast, you go on there, you search my name at Michael Lynch, Lynch. And during the fights, we're going to it's for like if you're driving in the car, you can't watch sports. It's mainly for like basketball and football and things like that. But I got word that they are moving into MMA. So I am getting a tryout to be a color commentator for them. Again, the app is called Colorcast. Download it. Search me at Michael Lynch, Lynch, and check me out this weekend for my debut in color commentating. Until next time for UFC 269 next Tuesday, stay barbecued. You know what it is, fuckers.